Welcome, folks, to the Deep Dive. Glad to have you all with us today. We're going to take a journey into some pretty powerful ideas about money, about the future, and really how it all connects right back here to us. We're diving deep into what Michael Saylor's been sharing. He's someone we find him incredibly insightful. We want to help you all navigate what's going on out there, finance, technology, all of it.
That's exactly right. Yeah. Today we're zeroing in on Saylor's framework. Folks often call it the power of 21.
Yeah.
We've gone through a whole heap of his stuff, speeches, study guides, deep analyses. And what really jumps out, across all of it, is this message of just a huge shift happening, a really big change. Could reshape how we think about finance for generations. Our aim here is simple. Boil these big ideas down so y'all can truly understand what's stirring out there, see the opportunities.
Yeah, what's really going on. And our mission today, it's clear. We're going to unpack Saylor's vision for Bitcoin, show you how the whole view of it has changed, dramatically. And most importantly, how you, right here in Overton County, might just be able to, grab hold of a unique opportunity, build a brighter future, maybe even, like you said, for generations to come. A real legacy. So let's kind of rewind our minds, just 11 months, back to last July. Picture that economic scene. Bitcoin, even then, it was already climbing pretty good, up, 55%?
Significant.
It was outperforming the big indexes, NASDAQ, S&P 500, clearly doing its own thing.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you had gold, silver, bonds kind of lagging, weren't they?
Lagging, yeah, or worse. Some were losers.
Right. And yet, even being a trillion-dollar asset, Bitcoin was still less than 0.1% of all the wealth in the world.
Yeah.
Still kind of seen as an oddity, a curiosity.
Exactly, an oddity. And what's unfolded since then, well, it's really been transformative, nothing short of it. We've seen this huge shift, not just in the markets, but, and this is maybe the surprising part, in politics too. It's like the whole river decided to change course, Just look at the political side. We went from maybe keeping it at arm's length to, well, now it's openly pro-Bitcoin talk. From the very top, the president himself saying, America will be the Bitcoin superpower of the world. That's a direct quote.
Wow. That's a statement.
It is. And you've got folks in the cabinet like David Sachs openly calling Bitcoin the one decentralized crypto network, the digital commodity. That level of endorsement, you just wouldn't have imagined it a year ago. And Wall Street, they are in big time. We're talking about an incredible $150 billion of capital, 1.4 million Bitcoin flowing in.
$150 billion. Yeah.
And public companies, not just Saylor's MicroStrategy, but Trump Media, even GameStop, they're practically racing to get Bitcoin on their books to be part of what Saylor calls the Bitcoin 100.
Why, though? What's the drive for them?
It's pure numbers, really. Bitcoin's average annual return, historically, around 56%. Now, compare that to what it usually costs a company to raise money, their cost of equity, maybe 13%.
Oh, okay. Big difference.
Huge. So buying Bitcoin, for them, it's what they call an accretive transaction.
Yeah.
It actually boosts value for their shareholders just by holding it. It makes financial sense. And this isn't just a U.S. thing either. Look around the world. You're seeing real regulatory support starting to build. The head of the OCC, that's a key bank regulator, saying banks should support Bitcoin. The Fed's basically said it's okay. The SEC, huge step, approving those Bitcoin ETFs.
Right. The ETFs were massive news. Opened it up for a lot more people.
Absolutely. And Congress is working on bills like the Clarity Act internationally. The UK, El Salvador, of course, countries in Europe, they're all moving towards frameworks showing support. It's global.
So it's like everyone's getting on board. Government, regulators, big money, corporations, are real convergence. And what's interesting, too, is how it's kind of pulled the whole crypto industry together, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, that's a great point. It used to feel more fragmented, didn't it? Different coins, different projects. But now, increasingly, the industry itself sees Bitcoin as, the foundation, the reserve currency for the whole digital economy.
A bedrock.
Exactly. The core protocol, like finding out, Center Hill Lake is full of gold and everyone's finally catching on. And all this kind of flows right into what Saylor calls the power of 21. Now, this isn't just some wild guess. It's an audacious prophecy, really, based on digital scarcity network effects. Saylor lays it out like this. In 21 years, there'll be 21 million Bitcoin, the price. $21 million per coin.
41 million.
Per coin. Growing, he figures, at 21% a year on average, with a volatility around, you guessed it, 21. He wraps it all up in this rule of 21. It's about sustained exponential growth, compounding over the long haul, built into the design, he argues.
And, when you look back at how Bitcoin's actually done, you start to see why he's maybe so confident. Over almost 5 years, that average return. 56% a year.
Yeah, the track record is there.
Put that next to the Mag 7, those big tech stocks everyone talks about. Bitcoin's more than double their return, way higher than the S&P 500. Saylor sees it as uniquely durable, vital, because it's like pure digital energy. Right?
Yeah, it's his term, yeah.
No counterparty risks,
Yeah.
no CEO you got to worry about, no supply chains breaking down, no tariffs.
None of that. It's global, permissionless, can't be changed.
So he's saying it won't just match traditional assets.
He says it'll always be better because its nature is just fundamentally different and superior for this digital age.
Right, and that's why he says Bitcoin has hit criticality. He uses this analogy like a nuclear reactor achieving chain reaction. The network's alive, the power's flowing, and crucially, there's no off switch now. Can't turn it off.
Satoshi's fire, he calls it. Satoshi's fire. Unstoppable now. We've passed that inflection point. The path forward, in his view, it's clear. It's irreversible. A fundamental change in how we store and move value.
Okay, but let's talk about the elephant in the room for a lot of folks.
Yeah.
The volatility. I mean, Bitcoin can swing wildly, right? Feels like a real roller coaster sometimes.
Oh, absolutely. No denying that.
And most people would think, well, that's a bug, that's a problem.
Yeah.
But Saylor, he turns that completely on its head. He calls volatility Satoshi's gift to the faithful.
He really does. And think about it this way. What if Bitcoin hadn't been volatile? What if it just went up smoothly, predictably, right from the start?
Okay. What then?
Well, all the big money, the sovereign wealth funds, the huge banks, the institutions, they would seen that smooth ride. They would have bought it all up, way back when. Outbid everybody.
So the average person wouldn't have stood a chance.
Exactly. It would have locked out any real shot at, generational wealth creation for the common person, for folks like us. So Saylor argues those periods of chaos, the big swings, that's where the opportunity is for those who get it and can hold on.
So it's not the bug.
It's the feature, designed maybe to allow wider distribution for those who stick it out.
Right. So his advice then, for anyone looking long term, is basically focus on the horizon. Keep your eye on that $21 million target 21 years out. And just ignore the daily noise.
Ignore the noise. That's the key.
That's what the Bitcoiners mean when they say hodl, right? Hold on for dear life.
That's the essence of it. Stay committed through the ups and downs.
It's like driving down Highway 111 towards Cookeville. You don't stare at every rock on the side of the road, do you? You keep your eyes fixed on where you're headed.
Perfect analogy. Keep your eyes on the destination. Which brings us to what Saylor calls your 21-year head start. Think about it. You, listening to this right now, y'all have some information, a way of thinking about this that, well, 99.8% of the world's capital doesn't really grasp yet.
That much. Wow.
That's his estimate. And that gap, that informational asymmetry, he sees that as a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, a chance to literally change the destiny of everybody in your bloodline and impact your community right here in Overton County. It's bigger than just money. It's about building a real, lasting legacy.
And he doesn't just leave it as an idea. He lays out a Bitcoin strategy. Pretty straightforward. Clarity, courage, action.
Clarity, courage, action. Yep.
He puts it bluntly, doesn't he? People that understand Bitcoin buy Bitcoin.
Yeah.
People that don't understand Bitcoin talk about Bitcoin.
Let's right to it.
So this isn't just sitting around talking. It's an active, long-term thing, a 21-year plan based on, disciplined work, being responsible with finance, sound engineering principles, and Bitcoin at the core. It's a whole blueprint.
And let's make it concrete. Let's look at some actual strategies he talks about. One main one is dollar cost averaging, DCA. Pretty simple concept.
Investing regularly, right?
Exactly. Maybe you invest, say, $50,000 a year into Bitcoin, and you bump that up, maybe 5% each year. You do that for 21 years. Your total cash put in, around $2 million over that whole time.
Okay, $2 million in.
But based on Saylor's projections, where could that end up in 21 years? Potentially $40 million.
$40 million from 2.
That's the potential power of compounding in this asset, he argues. Compare that to, say, a standard 60-40 stock bond portfolio. Maybe that gets you $4 million. An S&P index fund. Maybe $6 million.
So we're talking like 10 times more, potentially?
Potentially. It shows the scale of the difference he envisions. Then there's leverage. Using debt intelligently. Now, this needs a big asterisk.
Yeah. Got to be careful with borrowing money.
Absolutely. He is not talking about high-interest short-term loans, the kind that makes you a loan shark victim, as he puts it. Stay away from that.
Right.
He talks about financial genius moves, like maybe getting a long-term mortgage, 30 years, low interest, 3-4%, and using that to buy Bitcoin strategically.
Okay, so smart debt, not risky debt.
responsible, long-term, low-cost leverage. If managed very carefully, and it's definitely not for everyone, involves significant risk. But his models show that kind of move could potentially yield something like $190 million. Again, these are model projections, high risk. Always talk to a financial advisor. Leverage cuts both ways, big gains, but also big potential losses. Could lose your house.
For sure. And he mentioned something about not selling equity cheap.
Right, the no-go line for selling equity like company stock. Don't sell it below 1 times NAV, net asset value. That just waters down value for your existing shareholders. Bad move. And he even shows how you can combine these. Mix DCA with smart leverage. Maybe recycling 5% leverage each year or 15%. The potential numbers get even bigger. Could be $260 million, $370 million for a business strategy, maybe even $760 million in his models.
These numbers are just mind-boggling.
They are. But it illustrates the potential he sees in a long-term, disciplined approach with an asset he believes is designed for this kind of growth. It's not guaranteed, it's a projection based on his framework.
Okay, so you start talking about this stuff maybe down at the coffee shop or something, you're going to hear objections. The same ones probably come up all the time. The no-coiner arguments, Saylor called them.
Yep, 2 big ones.
It's too late now, and isn't that just a Ponzi scheme?
You hear him constantly. And Saylor has answers for both. For the it's too late crowd. His main point is simple. Bitcoin is technology. It's not just a stock you missed the boat on. It's fundamental.
Like fire or the wheel.
Exactly. His analogies, was it ever too late to master fire? Or the wheel? Or, the English language, electricity, the internet. His argument is you're never too late to master fundamental tech. Or do the right thing with Bitcoin, which means understand it, adopt it. Plus, look at its size compared to gold or real estate globally. He'd say it's still early days in its adoption curve. And the Ponzi scheme label, he pushes back hard on that. Bitcoin is different. Fundamentally different.
How so? What makes it different from a real Ponzi?
Well, a Ponzi needs a central operator, right? It needs new money coming in just to pay off the earlier folks. It's hidden, opaque. Bitcoin. It's decentralized, open source, anyone can see the ledger.
Right, it's transparent.
And the supply is capped, fixed at 21 million. No central boss can just print more. That's key. Its value comes from the network, its utility, its adoption, not from tricking new investors. He compares it to elemental things like fire or water or oil, a different paradigm. If you try to fit it into old boxes, you miss the point entirely.
So as we kind of wrap up this deep dive, let's bring it back home. Remember what this is really about. It's not just numbers on a screen. It's about building your legacy. That's the phrase that sticks with me. For your family, for this community, for folks who aren't even born yet. Think about those old stone walls you see around Gainsborough sometimes. Built strong, built to last. That's the kind of thinking.
A lasting impact.
Yeah. And the potential. Saylor puts numbers on it. He reckons just 4.8 Bitcoin could make you a centillionaire in 21 years, his term for incredible wealth.
Yeah.
And 48 Bitcoin, potentially a billionaire. Imagine that foresight, that commitment.
You really do have, as Saylor calls it, the winning hand with this knowledge, this 21 prophecy. It's a unique time. And like he says, the cowards never started. The weak died along the way. This is the chance maybe to find that clarity, show some courage, and take action. Create the future. Don't let it slip by.
So look, if this deep dive today helped you see things a bit clearer, if it got your mind turning like a butter churn on a hot summer day, please be a good neighbor. Hit that like button for us. Leave us a comment down below. Tell us what stood out to you, what got you thinking. And definitely subscribe so you don't miss the next time we dive deep into these truths. And as we part ways for now, we just want to offer a heartfelt wish, really a prayer to all humans everywhere. May you find clarity, may you find courage, and may you find the wisdom you need to build a brighter future for yourselves and everyone around you. And to all y'all listening, whether you're in Livingston, Monterey, maybe down by Dale Hollow Lake, or anywhere else, bless your hearts. We appreciate you tuning in, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive. Y'all take care now.